The Seagulls, though, are starting to develop into a competitive outfit, with the move of Andrew Walker into 5'8", one of the reasons.
A picture postcard afternoon in Auckland for the Battle of the Battlers. It's the Warriors at home to Manly, both sides anchored at the bottom of the ladder as round 10 continues in the Telstra Premiership. A crunch game, of course, for both sides, especially the Warriors. Big disappointments of 2004 thus far, and Manly, of course, snapping that 6-game losing streak last weekend. The visitors, they line up this way as per the program. Captain, of course, Steve Menzies, playing his 250th game last week, and the coach, of course, Des Hasler. A few changes to the home side. Vince Mellors gets a promotion, and he will start today in place of Clinton Torpey, also getting the call up to the starting side, Paliasina and Wairangi Korpu. Shane Hayne blows time on. Walker in no hurry to get us underway, and it will be the Warriors with first use of the football, running from left to right, and it is Paliasina with the first hit up of the game. Straight away beyond the 20-metre line. Guttenbeil up against his old club here this afternoon. And Villasanti was calling for the football, but wasn't forthcoming. Desault plays it back adjacent to the 40-metre line. Villasanti across to Korpu, and they put him down, 3 of them in fact, on the halfway line. Opening seconds of this round 10 clash, and a fumble on the far side of the field from Tony Martin, but the Warriors maintain possession. On the last, Jones with the kick. Not much angle to work with. That doesn't worry you.
Not much angle, but certainly the right result. And a good start by the Warriors. A fumble that was recovered and able to go through and complete their set of 6 and get up the other end of the football field. Ifeka Paliasina with the first hit up. His more accustomed role coming off the bench. Maybe getting an opportunity to get in there and just soften him up there. Carl Tomato alongside him, Clinton Torpey. He's certainly got the transmitters up this afternoon, and however, whatever way to get the messages, he's certainly going to get them this arvo.
Daniel, sire, inside leg back. Put the ball in front of both feet, okay? In front of both feet.
All right, the scramble form, and Manly come away with it, as you would expect, just outside their 10-metre line. 90 seconds gone, or thereabouts.
Go.
And the Eagles now using their big men. Hamono getting rid of the football. There is a, well, I thought just for a moment a mistake, but play on's the call. Referee Haynes says it went backwards. Walker, the dummy half, finds a runner. This is Watmow. And there is a penalty to the Manly side. And they'll look for a quick touch finder here off the boot of Walker. Paliasina jogging back to get ready to aim up in defence.
Stay there, Brent. Wait, go.
Many believe it's Andrew Walker who will provide the spark for the side. Last week in their win over St George, he was the one who put on a couple of nice plays, positioned their team around the field. Walker looks to be a good buy from Rugby Union, and just the 5'8" Manly require.
Now in possession, Hamono. It's taken him 10 years to chalk up 3 figures in the top grade. A big afternoon for him on a personal note. Monahan with a cutout ball across to the centre 3/4. And
Marcus, lock in. Wait here, Owen.
Going to ground was Chris Hicks. Monahan takes it to the line, crabbing across field, links up with Walker. Here's a chance. Torrens in possession. Torrens with the opening try. As easy as that. Albie Torrens. What a start for Manly.
Certainly Costa did seem a little bit easy. Monahan went to the line, had runners looking like he was going to put a kick in behind. Have a look at this, they all go, they're all chasing, decides to take the ball to the line and run right around the back of them. Walker links up and shoots a good long ball out to Torrens, and here Mellors pointing on the inside, waiting for the players to come across, didn't get there in time, and all too easy.
And the play certainly that made it all happen was Walker staying alive, positioned himself to receive the pass and then be able to launch some good width.
About 2 in from touch. That's the angle he's got to work with, and it's waved away. No change to the score, but a good start for the visitors. 5 gone. It's Manly at 4-0. Crusher Cleal, one of the Manly greats, of course, on the bench. Part of the Off-field team at Brookvale as we get back underway, and Homono brings it back upfield. 5 gone. Let's go downstairs with Stephen McIver.
Costo, thank you. Beautiful afternoon for playing rugby league this afternoon. It's funny about the thing about body language. Both these sides coming out of the park just very calm, but also wondering what was going to unfold this afternoon. I think Daniel Anderson would have been happy with his first offensive set of 6. It was solid to say the least, no nonsense. But I think this one's going to go all the way 80 minutes. And by the way, Costo, congratulations on the arrival of number 2.
Owen, let him stand now.
Thank you, Stephen. And Manly now putting boot to ball, thanks to Monahan, who is really in uncharted waters, playing in the 7 jumper, having come down to Sydney from Canberra. So he's certainly going through a learning curve, but wasn't a bad kick. Good chase as well, the Warriors. Some of them slow to get back on side. Crowd calling for a penalty. Speaking of number 7s, this is Hohire, and he is taken by Monahan with the help of Heckenberg. Gutenbiel goes for a gallop. Menzies affects the tackle. There's the penalty. Too much in it. A flop is the call. And the man at fault, Sam Harris.
They'll square up for the game and 1 penalty each. Be interesting to watch the Warriors this afternoon. They have their little men in defence, 1 in from the winger. Hohire on this side, where Stacey Jones normally defends, and Stacey himself on the left-hand side, inside Francis Melly.
Some bruising defence from the Eagles. On the receiving end, Villasanti. Paliacina now crossing halfway.
And that's been the most noticeable feature in the opening passages of play in this game. That's about Manly, the defensive line, putting numbers into the tackle, taking the speed out of the play the ball area.
Move it. Hold.
Result from dummy half, fires the pass to Jones. Now Webb up from fullback, spots an opening, goes straight through. He's got support. Surely there's a try coming. There is a try. Stacey Jones backing up on the inside, crossing the stripe. There's the equaliser. 4 plays 4 with the kick to come. And Jones, perhaps he's been injured in the process of scoring that one.
Well, the most used play in rugby league is the one around the back. The second man play there, and it opened up the hole perfectly for Webb. Used his speed and then came infield to one of the best support players in rugby league, certainly in New Zealand, and Stacey Jones.
And it's the best way to respond when you've just had a 4-pointer put on you. But on the back of this one was a Manly defensive line that came up in numbers. They're all at sorts. And once you're in outside that back door, it's all about getting numbers and getting support plays. Stacey Jones coming up with his 2nd try for 2004.
Second 4-pointer for the little general, whose form has certainly been under the microscope this season. And Falmawina now, and you talk about form, how good is he going at 87% and looking for 14 straight. This one a sitter to get us underway. And he makes no mistake, so the streak continues for Falmawina. And the Warriors now leading by 2, 9 gone.
Stay on side, stay on.
Shane Hayne in a familiar position really on the flank, patrolling the offside as we see a near thing for the Warriors. Villasanti, after all that, brings it back just beyond the 10-metre line.
Don't walk forward.
So we've seen 2 tries in the opening 9 minutes.
Wait, go.
Great day for football here in the city of Sales. The sun is shining and Warriors seemingly now with their tails up.
Certainly laying the platform of the big man in Paliacina, and the person doing that for the Manly pack early on looks to be Solomon Humano. 4 hit-ups already. He looks to be the one who's going to be the backbone of this pack today.
Well, he is certainly one of the key players involved in their performance up against the Dragons last week.
Good second phase footy from the Warriors. Started with Gutenbiel. Now the last coming up for the home side. Stacey Jones across to Falmawina. Tony Martin puts boot to ball. Getting back there for Manly is Brett Stewart, the young fullback, and he does well. The rookie custodian getting play back outside that in-goal area. Hicks plays it back. What now? Takes it forward. And completion rates perfect for both coaches. That is pleasing, particularly if you're Daniel Anderson. The Warriors haven't been setting the world on fire in that department, to say the least.
But where Manly's making it quite clear that they do want to set the world on fire, and that's about looking to shift it wide. But the earliest opportunity they get, they look to go left. On that occasion, the ball going to ground, but they recovered well on the back of an Andrew Walker, now putting it down on the 20-metre zone. Well taken, Francis Malley. He now hits up and faces a Manly side.
Malley looks to bust them. Got it back to Webb. Here comes the counter-attack. Twinkle toes Webb. 30 metres out, centre of the ground. Now, Paliasina trying to burrow his way upfield. Ohio at first receiver, the cutout pass. Vinnie Anderson goes to ground. The tackle affected by Albert Torrens. Korpu. And Gutenbeil goes to ground. 7 metres out. Not even that. Dezolt, a dummy half. Gives it across to Anderson. He goes to ground. Now the last coming up. Ohio, little kick into the in goal. Oh, they've made a middle of it! And Stacey Jones! What a present! What a gift! What a double! The Warriors into double figures at 10-4.
Yes, the little general gets in for number 2, but put this try down to Francis Malley, bringing the ball back at the start of the set of 6. This is the end of it. They'll put a short little kick in behind the defensive line. And with chasers, everybody in action, players everywhere, a fumble and a gift.
There was always a sense that Manly were just hanging on in this set of 6. The Warriors were able to get up the other end of the footy field, looking for the 5th play option, came on the back of a Lance Ohio kick. But Stacey Jones putting himself in a position, the benefactor of a fumble up the back there. Brett Stewart just not being able to regather completely. Stacey Jones, try number 2.
Try number 2, and the benefit of applying some pressure. That's what Daniel Anderson wanted. He wanted his players to apply some pressure on the opposition, and that pressure turned into a mistake and a try.
And something Manly got to be real conscious of is when they put their ball down the other end of the football field, when you got the likes of Francis Malley coming back at you, and certainly if he finds a support play in Brent Webb, you expose yourselves to some open field running and some broken field play.
Well, after conceding the opening try, the Warriors have a neat dozen. 12 plays for, 13 gone. Walker sends us into the next passage of play, and Villasani with a juggle. Oh, put him in the circus. Give him a start somewhere. How did he save that?
Blessed, I'd say, just on his own defensive line. You've got to ask yourself, Brent Webb standing right beside him, why Brent Webb isn't calling to take the receipt of that ball and then hand it on. But a great effort from the big man. He's got hands and arms everywhere. Look at this bounce, up he goes. Whoa, yeah, acrobatic.
I'm sure the heart was fluttering if you were Daniel Anderson.
What I'm enjoying early on is the first receiver. He's got good support play there, and he's got second players running into gaps. Richard Villasanti off Owen Googbill in that case. And a nice little kick there by Dezolt. Just put it in touch, get some composure, bring it back into it. But certainly in good position to launch a good defensive play.
It certainly was. Nice to see Dezolt stepping out of the sacked in half area with his right foot, holding his breath there and bouncing it just a foot inside the touchline. Gives him a good option if you've got a player, i.e. Danny Baderas, for the kicking game.
Big day too for Dezolt, a cowboy cast-off, called up to play his former teammates last week. First outing, of course, for the Warriors on home soil. Manly in possession. It's a good start for the Eagles. Torrens getting across the stripe, but since then they've conceded back-to-back tries, and they're now doing a little more tackling than the Warriors.
But there's no doubting the attitude that exists within this Manly outfit right now. They found their first win on the back of 6 straight losses up against the Dragons. But a strong second half performance, certainly led by the likes of Helmono. Beaver there struggling up against a strong defensive line. But Harris as well, one of the stars of this football team at the moment. Off contract, a lot of people talking about Matty Orford. Have a look at him as well for next year.
Well, in fact, the entire back row for Manly off contract, as we see a kick downtown go dead in goal. Watmow, Menzies and Harris yet to confirm their future beyond this season as Tamata gets his boarding pass.
Disappointing end to the Manly set of 6 there, the kick Not really doing anyone any favours. Certainly not competing to get the ball back once putting the kick in. Looking maybe for a bounce to help them out. But disappointing end to a set of 6 working off their own end.
An early change too for Richard Villasanti, only just over 15 minutes gone on the clock. He gets a spell on the bench.
Paliacina up to halfway. O'Hire with the kick. And Stewart gets across there. He slips over. They've got big raps on this kid at Manly.
One of the changes signalled last week and certainly came out with the goods. Finding a little bit tough so far in the early stanza. Let's hope the kid just recovers from that fumble in the end goal there and just gets back into it.
Here's Hopewadi, working as always feverishly, really like a 7th forward. Heckenberg, 5 short of halfway.
Busy player for Manly, Heckenberg. 13 tackles already, and that's his 4th hit up. A real workaholic.
And we just saw a glimpse of a player, Manly player, warming up on the sideline, Kyle Lulaway. He'll be looking forward to getting his opportunity on the park and expect some fireworks out of him as well, the former Papatoe Panther.
Walker with a high one, a test for Webb. It's no test. He shows it, and he takes the tackle of Donald, the 2 North Queenslanders involved in the play. Manly now looking to jam the Warriors at the northern end of Ericsson. Harris affecting the tackle, getting some help from Hollingsworth. Paliacina got his call up to first grade a couple of weeks ago against Melbourne after scoring 5 tries in just 2 games in the Bartercard Cup. Oh, my goodness! On the receiving end was Goodenbiel. Haynes says, play on. O'Hire with the kick.
And exactly the sort of defensive plays that you're looking for out of your team. Just that little touch. We saw it on Friday night with a big hit by Gordon Tallis. It just ignited that game. An outstanding game of football the Knights up against the Broncos. But sometimes big hits like that work wonders.
Both teams playing good footy. Nearly 20 minutes gone. No handling errors in the match. The game was just stalled in pace a bit after the point scoring for the first 5 or 6 minutes. And now the arm wrestle begins.
Not a bad game at all when you consider it is second last, playing last on the ladder. Good game of footy here in Ericsson, midway through the opening stanza. On the last, Monahan with the bomb. Here come the chasers. Webb, clean take, but they jam him into the in goal.
Great play, Andrew Walker. He put it up there. He give it plenty of hang time. Enough hang time to certainly get up there and put some pressure on Webb. Well done.
Must be a pretty conceived play, this. Big bombs to the middle of the field for Webb. They obviously believe there's a weakness there. A lot of kickers go high and wide to the wingers who get up and compete, but it's the 3rd time we've seen the ball go straight up in the middle of the field, and this time, well, there's enough height on it and it's on the try line and they push him back.
But reading the play as well, if you're positioned on that 30-metre mark, you know you're going to come up with the next best result. It's guaranteed when you can force it in the end goal. Well read, Andrew Walker. Good play.
Heckenberg, 27 metres out from the Warriors goal line. Hollingsworth works the blind side, and going to ground is Watmow, and Paliacina getting a spell and a well-deserved break at that. Donald links up with Monahan. He takes it to the line and they deal with him. Walker, you got to watch him. Now chiming in from fullback, Stewart. Jones makes the tackle. Hopewadi with the offload. The crossfield kick. Coming through is Donald. He's got pace. He gets the bounce. What a play from Manly. Scotty Donald sniffing around. He loves scoring a try, this kid.
Oh, great variety. They've been bombing the midfield. When the opportunity came, in goes the kick in behind. And what a fantastic bounce. Donald's width comes. The ball bounces up. Brilliant play. There it is. That's it there. Over it goes. And look at the bounce. You don't get it any better than that. Under the post.
Good try and certainly a good response, but poor Vince Mellors, he was out there just watching him off screen. He had moved up and at the last minute he had realised he was caught in no man's land. He turned, looking to recover, but Donald just too quick getting around the back. Well positioned, well weighted kick and a good result. But 2 big plays that have come on the left hand side. Both, unfortunately, on Paul Binsmeller's wing.
So after the conversion by Walker, the margin now just 2. A restart coming up here for the Warriors off the boot of Falmawina. And it is Monahan who laid on the try for Donald, who takes the ball on the full and sends one of his big boppers upfield. And now, was there a forward pass there or what? Maybe he got a call from the linesman, Shane Hayne. Calls it back. And it was Watmount. Well, it was flat maybe to Torrens, but the linesman was in perfect position. There he is. He's the man who you can point the finger at.
Jason, we now know you're a father of 2 and celebrating, and obviously had a few late nights over the last couple of weeks, but that was certainly well fought, brother.
All right, back to the football now. Thank you, Peter. Falmawina goes to ground. Siu, who has come into the battle at an opportune time, I dare say. Hohaya misses out to Mata, goes to Jones. Now Corpu, ball knocked down, play on they should. Manly have got it, it doesn't matter.
Marcus Square, that's tackle 1.
Perhaps not the result they were looking for at the end, but good to see some structured set play coming on the 20-metre.
Inside, line us up, boys. You got to line us up on that short side. You got to line us up, mate.
Totally agree, Peter. Their players in action out on this right-hand side. Stacey Jones delivers the pass, and it's a good short ball. Corpu looking for Brent Webb. The Manly player knocked it down and would have been played on, and Stewart, well, gets there just in the nick of time. And then on the back of that, inside the 10, Manly out of trouble.
Heckenberg now, former Dragons player, played for Scotland at the World Cup 4 years ago, and been quite a handy buy for Des Hasler and the Eagles.
Certainly is. When you look at this little article in Big League this week, another penalty conceded there, playing the ball. Voted as certainly the top 5 most reliable football players, Heckenberg.
John Hopoate on screen there. Certainly gets himself in the middle of the field, very, very busy. Then he heads back off to his wing play. Anywhere in this end of the field, in Manly's own half, he's got an open licence to get in there and run the football.
And getting a licence now, yes, to run the football. Dunley being thrust into the game, and Manly on the back of 2 penalties in a row in great field position. They're just 5 metres out, and it is Heckenberg to play the football.
And not afraid to bury their play as well.
Dunley, Walker, Monahan, looking for Menzies perhaps. Monahan goes to ground, Tamata affecting the tackle. Help from Corpu. Papawati trying to suck in a couple of defenders.
Forward. Movement, Jerry, straight off.
Lillaway
Wait here, wait.
plays it back. They come the right side. The pass has been knocked down, and knock on is the call.
Right at the ball.
I dare say Jones, he put the mitt out. He did play the football. Fans not happy, but I dare say Shane Hayne has got it right.
And you play a game of poker, sometimes you get the winning hand. And this one, just fortunate, Stacey was able to get his hand there. If they were able to unleash, there were certainly numbers outside them.
He must have a big hand then, Peter. Look as though just about missed it clear. Manly, they've got the biggest dummy half in rugby league, and John Hopoate there. And he's doing reasonably well with some not bad service.
Well, the nicest thing about what Hopoate's doing is going into acting half, 1 metre off the line. You all know what he's going to do, and he does the opposite. He's thinking.
And now Manly looking to threaten the line. They're only 5 metres out. Monahan looking for runners. Watmow with the juggle. That went backwards. Play-on's the call.
Bring it back, short side.
Walker going across field. Good ball. Was it forward though?
Here, Jerry.
Lillaway was on the receiving end. There is a penalty. No advantage for the Manly side. Offside the Warriors, not marking up correctly. Surely they'll take the 2.
Shot we go, boys.
Absolutely spot on with this call. Shane Hayne, Brent Webb not standing square, and there we have a little tree hairdo through the big man. But yes, good pressure here from Manly as they come to the line. And if you just have a look here, Brent Webb, well, he's not even behind. He's standing right to the side, comes out too quick, milking the penalty, and they give 2 points.
And when you talk about just good pressure, being able to build some pressure, So much on the back of some nice, tidy, simple play by the likes of Heckelberg, Palmono, and even Watmo getting involved there.
Kamano, Watmo.
Well, what we do know is that Walker will get 2 here. Played, of course, for the Wallabies after playing for the Kangaroos. In an elite band of players. Flags are up. Numbers are in the frame here at Ericsson. We got a tied ball game at 12 apiece.
Costa, you mentioned that Andrew Walker played for the Wallabies and spent some time with the Brumbies. I interviewed the man about a year and a half ago, and I said to him at one stage during a training session, do you actually miss rugby league? And he just looked at his eyes and smiled. He was always destined to play rugby league, that boy.
Yeah, and it made him really feel at home at Manly. He's got a little farm there, not too far from Brookvale. So he's a country boy at heart from Yass, down there not too far from Canberra. And he's really settled in at Manly. Yep. Another restart for the Warriors. And it will be Heckenberg on a mission upfield.
And the Warriors on their kickoff certainly using the advantage of the sun directly in the eyes of the receiving players down in the 10-metre zone. Now they back it up with some solid defence.
Another dusty pass. Some of the fans again getting stuck into referee Shane Hayne and his fellow officials. Walker, Menzies, who had his thigh, or hamstring I should say, heavily strapped last week. Was there a strip there? Yes, there was.
On the back of some advice from the touchy, the Warriors again give a penalty down this end of the field. As it's Beaver Menzies, Francis Smelly comes in and attacks the football, and as the player gets pulled down, well, even if he holds the football, it's inadvertently a strip, and that's the way the touchy saw it.
I'm glad you saw it.
Sam Harris, former Waratah, grew up on rugby league on the Northern Beaches with the Avalon Bulldogs, back playing the game he loves.
What a nice little spot that one is as well. Did you see that little left-hand break? Nice.
He loves the surf. He certainly loves his footy. Manly now coming across to this western side of the ground. You joined us late. Manly took the early lead at 4-0. And that was followed by back-to-back tries from Stacey Jones. Dunley scouting from dummy half. Got rid of one. Still going across field. Links up with the Hopper. And Hopperwadi sucks in 2. Make that 3. And he'll be playing the footy on the 20-metre line. Monahan with the little kick. And Jones cleans up for the Warriors.
Jones cleans up, but the Manly football side, Desi Hasler and their supporting coaching staff. Francis Malley.
Get out of my way, says Francis Malley. He does well, treading the sideline like a precipice.
And Stacey Jones noticeably involved in this game.
Quick play the ball. Crowd starting to vent their anger, looking for a piggyback, I dare say. Hohia, Korpu, an offload perhaps forthcoming. No, he thinks otherwise. And he goes to ground in a 3-man tackle. Now the last coming up for the Warriors. Hohia with the kick, Donald with the chase, and gets a bounce. 21 tries in 24 games last season for Donald, and already on the try-scoring sheet this afternoon.
And the conditions couldn't be better for football, and we saw a stat just moments ago. Manly 93%. Certainly got to bring a smile to the coaching staff. The Warriors not far behind in the 80 area.
Hopewadi again working as that 7th forward.
That's 4, movement, short side.
Donnelly plays it back. Dunley can't offload.
One step, wait, Terry.
Now the last coming up for the Eagles. Walker running it on the last. Here's an overlap. Play on's the call. No, forward pass is the call.
Terrific opportunity on the right-hand side. John Hopewadi, Steve Menzies caught a little bit flat-footed. Walker, well, beautiful play. Draws 2 players. In fact, it was Hicks on the inside, Hopewadi on the outer, and then the pass back in was forward. Nice to see a bit of variety on the last play after bombing the midfield.
I wonder whether the coach would have preferred them to continue. As on the back of that set of six that perhaps didn't go the right end. Now they concede the penalty, but I wonder whether the coaching staff would have preferred them to go with what they were going to do initially. And that was play out their 5 nice and tidy in their half and then put a kick down the other end. They now find themselves hard on D.
Yes, it may well come back to haunt them, Peter. Here is Tamata. 8.5 minutes away from half-time. Lawaki with a storming run. 2 tries against Manly at Brookvale a few weeks back. Mark has gone to ground. Here's Hohire. Hohire going through some thimble defence. Just short of the line. Result. Big Jerry looking for the barge over. They will go upstairs.
He did knock down the ball first time when he got over.
You would have to believe this is close. Shane Hayne was right there. He'll check the grounding. He was right on top of it. Body language tells you Jerry Susu hasn't scored a try. He drives down low, and Stewart does well to get his body in the road. I believe there it is there. It's on his legs. He tries to rip it up here. Was this ball then reefed out as he tries to launch it again? And the ball flies out the back. Manly players believe it's play on. Not for mine, Peter.
Yeah, I'm not seeing things too clearly at the moment, other than I've got a front row forward that's a very good Hollywood performer. I think clearly there it's come out the back door.
Well, certainly not a try. And as he comes up to do it again, second player in, attacking the ball. That's a steal.
What now appears to be the guilty man in this. There's some fairly conclusive evidence there to suggest at the very least this will be a penalty to the Warriors for the strip. But it was very good work, wasn't it, from the fullback initially to save the try. Phil Cooley with the call. It is a penalty. No try, of course.
2 in the tackle strip.
But if you ever wanted your bench to respond in an angry manner because the fact you've been demoted off from the starting lineup, Lawaki, what strength when he went into the tackle moments ago.
So the pressure still on Manly. Hohire,
Oh, that's 1 now.
who only recently returned from a lengthy stint on the sidelines. Gazalt gives it to Jones. Now Webb. Webb looking to penetrate the line.
Wait. Get square at markers.
And again they go for the barge over from short range. Unsuccessful on this occasion, despite the efforts of Melly. Pass goes to ground. Manly have got it through Monahan.
Disappointing. Pass to no one. I've got to give Brent Webb a real rap here. His thrust out wide is really adding something to the Warriors' back line as Manly work it again off their own line, 30 metres out. They've had some pretty cheap penalties to get out of here from the Warriors. This time they'll go the whole hog.
4. Movement now, Sion. Hold, go.
Uloi plays it back. Hopewadi gets involved.
Dominant tackle.
Put on his backside. Tamata putting his shoulder to the wheel. Now the last coming up. Walker with the kick. Ball bouncing down towards that try line at the northern end of the ground. Melly with the wind-up.
Manly were in this position not that long ago and they elected to go wide, then on the back of a penalty. This time they complete and they put it down the other end and chase it. Put a good chase behind it.
Well, Big Francis, he must have saw the amber light flashing. Slowed right down as the chasers came downtown.
Let him stand up.
Warriors doing a bit more tackling than the visitors as Falmawina goes for a sortie. Offloads back to Webb. Webb now showing some deft footwork, and Big Jerry says this is the way to go. Now from dummy half, Anderson steals some good metres for the Warriors. Hohire with the kick on the last. And Stewart's across there for Manly. Gets a bounce, gets away, still going up to the 20-metre line. Good return from the fullback.
I thought they had the numbers on the left-hand side on that play. They'd certainly got a roll. There's some good momentum on the back of Jerry. Billy Anderson getting involved. Lance opting to put the ball on the ground. Manly now get the opportunity to put it down the other end. 5 minutes to go on the clock. Tied up. First one in certainly is the ideal position to go into at the split.
Donnelly plays it back to Dunley. He crosses halfway, looking for Menzies. Instead goes to ground.
Don't go early.
Fifth and final now coming up for Manly. Monahan kicking from dummy half. Malley with the chase. He can forget about it. Touch in goal. And an easy 20-metre gain coming up for the home side.
Interesting, Dunley kicking down the right-hand side of this field. They've had a bit of success down Vince Miller's side with kicks in behind. And Vince hasn't had much opportunity this game to get involved. If I was kicking with the Manly team, I'd be kicking left and trying to work that wing pairing between O'Hire and Millers.
Back underway, and Luaki picked up and dumped like a backhoe, the Manly defence. Working together as a unit as CU tries to steady the ship.
One of the toughest defenders in the game, Kyle Luluwai.
Let him stand up.
Probably a little fortune he just missed there, but welcome to the game.
Good lifting too on the part of Watmow. Warriors up to halfway.
Hold.
O'Hire with the kick, got it away despite a possible charge down on the part of Watmow. Now, Stewart, back upfield. 25 out from his own line. 4 before the break. 12-12's the score. This is Donald. Jammed into the turf. And getting a spell for Manly, Kylie Luluwai, who's certainly got some hit in him.
3 now, 3. Wait.
Watmow plays it back. Hopewadi again running from dummy half. Part of his game, isn't it? He loves it. Dunley back on the inside. This is Donnelly.
The Warriors have done a good job this afternoon containing Hopper coming out of the acting half.
No runner getting in the way.
Wasn't that what Desi was famous for?
He certainly was. And we've got a Kiwi runner for Manly who's obviously upsetting Mr. Hayne. We can't have that.
Well, he's certainly coached by one of the best when it's about running the water and getting in amongst.
Oh, he was a gold medalist. Here's Walker with the high one. Webb has a good look at it, takes it on the full. This time he stays in the field of play. What is Walker doing? Like dragging the cat through the house. You can't do that.
Well, not with the cat that big, that's for sure, Costa. But he's certainly making his intention quite clear. Put it high, get some hang time. That kick just falling a little short, allowing Brett Webb to be this side of the goal line.
They're much more placid with my poodles, I must say. The no-look pass from Jerry Siu. Well, I've seen everything now. Anderson's not impressed, but he'll be much better after seeing Shane Hayne awarding a penalty to his side.
Yeah, it's just a little loose hand here and they play the ball, getting the Warriors out of trouble. And they'll have a last chance to build some pressure on this Manly line before the interval.
And both sides are certainly very conscious of the fact there's only 2 minutes left on the clock. Both understanding that if they concede, puts them in a very different state of mind going into the break. Last week, Manly 2-0 at the split, then went on to win the drag against the Dragons quite convincingly.
Falmawina looking for Webb on the inside. Opts to take the tackle instead. 25 out from the Manly goal line. Less than 2 to go before the break. Webb now looking for runners. Gives it to O'Hire. Pass knocked down. Should be 6 to go. Knocked down by Manly. Effectively 6 to go. We'll have a scrum forming here. And the Warriors, if they're fair dinkum, they'll be looking to form rather quickly. Doesn't matter. Hayne stopped the timepiece.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know you will.
About 90 seconds away from the split.
Still 2 hands on the ball. Inside leg back.
2 tries apiece.
Stay in it. Out.
In this round 10 showdown. Webb across field. Goes backwards, in fact. 1-on-1. Stewart affects the tackle on Webb. Bit of a push and shove as well. Now, going for a gallop is Mellors. Made his first grade debut less than 12 months ago at this ground against Cronulla. He plays it back. O'Hire, Jones, the halves combining, across to Webb. Here's an overlap, here's a chance. Falmawina, ball goes to ground. Martin comes up with the fumble.
Yeah, wrong place, Yoni Falmawina. He had the numbers on the outside. He should have looked to position Tony Martin. Rather than Tony regathering the ball in the end goal area, he could very well have found himself either coming up with his 4-pointer or launching Francis Malley for his first.
Spot on. That step there off his left foot, trying to straighten it up, wasn't the right play. He needed to shift the ball. That set that up perfectly. Working from the right-hand side of the field right across to the left. They've gained some numbers. Would have been 2-on-1 for the winger and a try on the corner.
Just wait now, just wait. When you
Poor
try
old
to
Tony
get off,
Martin.
back on
He
again.
can't take a trick. He's had a heap of tries disallowed this season.
Wait. Stay in it, Rock,
Must have
stay in.
walked under a
out.
ladder or something.
Get him down, Brett.
This is Hicks.
That's right, let him stand up. Wait here, Go.
The Warriors will look to try and force an error here and get some, and that's exactly what they do. Now they get one more chance at it. 23 seconds on the clock, and this could be it.
Tony Martin, Webb,
Right, let him go, Steve.
centre of the ground, 20 out. Seconds remaining in the first 40. Tamata, hard and straight, looking to get rid of the footy. Lost the ball. Penalty though, right in front of the sticks. That will cost Manly 2 points.
Spot on. Put it in the bank and get into the changing rooms for the half-time orange.
Capper Steve Menzies obviously not happy, and the Warriors, they built some pressure on the back of a Hopewadi mistake. That ball there was also tempting to throw from Tamata, and just trying to get up and play the ball with players all over you. That's a fair penalty, and that'll change the text of this first half, Peter.
And I guess if you're Steve Menzies, you'd be entitled to be a little disappointed with that penalty as well. How often have we seen in 10 rounds of football the insistence by the referee, get to your feet before you play the ball? I think he's entitled to be a little angry.
Stay still, boys out there.
Faumawina looking to continue this sequence of consecutive goals. 11 out, almost in front. Flags are up, numbers again in the frame, and at the break, it is 14-12 to the Warriors.
Tonight on Fox Sports News, some surprises in the New South Wales State of Origin side as Queensland names the injured Darren Lockyer as captain of their team. The AFL blames the clubs for injuries to the game's ruckman. Matthew Burke speaks out about his disappointment at being dumped by the Waratahs, and Pantani takes out the Adelaide Cup from Dane Storm and Bel Air. Details on Fox Sports News nightly at 7 o'clock Eastern.
What's the bottom line on the Nissan Pulsar? You get a powerful 1.8-litre engine, stylish modern design, all the usual Pulsar features including aircon, CD player and keyless entry. Plus, from now on, you get new safety features including ABS brakes and dual airbags as standard. That's over $1,400 of extra value, and it's still from only $19,990. So what's the bottom line on the Nissan Pulsar? You won't find better value anywhere.
So the second 40 about to unfold, and it's the Warriors leading 14-12. And Hamono carting the ball back upfield for Manly. And he's out to the 20-metre line.
And having just carted myself all the way back up to the top of the grandstand here, there's certainly the sentiment down there amongst fans on the way is one of, they're quite happy, quite content where it sits, and I think that also would apply to Manly fans as well.
It's a fair job getting you up the grandstand too, Peter. Keep working on it.
Donnelly has been hurt. It was a very good run, a dogged run upfield, but he has been injured in the tackle. And it was just maybe the arm of Siu coming across. Certainly no malice in the tackle, just one of those things that happen in a game of rugby league. We're back underway. Williamson, 10 short of halfway. Opening minute of the second half. Hopewadi again attracting defenders.
Very quick to open his second half account before his runs out of the acting half, and he does exactly that. He tries to pull the defenders out of the line, those who take the bait. Leaves some gaps as Manly find themselves putting it deep down and finding touch as well.
This kick was very, very well set up. They threw it wide and really wide out to Walker, who then shifted it again. It brought the Warriors line right up in defence, left a gaping big hole at the back. They fed the kick into the gap and it bounced to the line. Smart play from Manly.
Jones wearing the 6 but working the scrums. O'Hire at the back of it.
Feeding the 5'8". So we're starting to get used to the combinations that have certainly been sprung on us. He tricked us that time, Stacey feeding him.
Well, Anderson, he's just lost the ball, according to referee Hayne. He's blowing up big time, but look at Steve Menzies. He's applauding the referee.
Well, of course he would. He just got the benefit of the doubt of one of this grey area when you're in around the ruck and the ball just drops out. It's disappointing. Why would you just drop it? Of course you wouldn't. There's got to be a hand in there or some sort of interference in that area.
But sometimes, DJ, you are playing poker and you don't want to be the one that gets sprung by the coaching staff, so you act a little as well.
Out.
Monahan finding Stewart. Brett Stewart plays it back. 10 out from the goal line. Here come Manly.
Don't go early, don't go early.
The Eagles, not far away. Hamono. He is repelled. Called on to play the football. Monahan, a cutout pass. Menzies putting boot to ball early in the tackle count, but they'll get 6 more.
This time it's Manly's turn to set it up from the left-hand side and spread the ball all the way over to the right-hand side, and it's Steve Menzies.
Hello, we've got a bit of push and shove it.
Replace Steve Menzies, putting a little kick through. Webb tidies up very, very well.
Since the last play the ball, these two have been engaged in a push and shove 3 times in about a 20-metre walk. I suggest they be pulled down a little bit.
Thanks, mate. Listen, when we finish playing the ball, we play the ball, we walk away. At marker, you do whatever you like in there, Chase, but we do not touch each other in here. Do you understand that? Let's go back and play football. Used to in here. Listen, play the ball area. We want to clean it up a little bit more, okay? Okay, it's getting a little bit messy. Goal line drop, boys.
Well, you heard him. Wow, what's in that? Playing the ball, the ref laying down the rules.
It would have been an interesting clash there. Solomon Hamono is certainly one who's not foreign to the world of boxing.
Heavyweight title.
Absolutely. And now our young up and rising Epahami Lawaki.
Oh,
Whoa.
They'd pay good money at Festival Hall to see that one.
Well, people would have got their tickets worth here this afternoon. Hamono takes it back at them.
Where's Lawaki? I'm looking for you.
That's one now. Let him stand up. Wait.
Manly on the attack.
Battle of the Tongan Giants.
30 out from the Warriors line. What now goes to ground on the eastern side of Ericsson. Bit of a mix-up there for the Eagles. They shift it to Williamson. Williamson, just for a moment, I thought he was going through. 15 out. Monahan, flat ball to Menzies. Menzies goes to ground. The man they call Beaver plays it back. Dunley with a scout. Good ball across to Hicks. There's the 4-pointer. Put it down to Dunley. Great vision, great pass, and Hicks with the finish. Manly back in front.
That's how you hit a hole and how you run a line when you're that close to the line. Sure, they were set up to the left and they brought it this side to where Stacey Jones is defending one in from the winger, and it's a perfect place. He's a big man, Hicks. Good speed off the mark, and he just goes straight and hard there. Then they come to grab him, just arm grabbing. Good try.
And I go back to the play there by Steve Menzies. We saw a carry moments before when they got the penalty, put them up in good position, but what he does more than anything else, perhaps not running the lines, hitting the gaps that were seen in the past, but vintage Menzies certainly does a good job of committing defenders, bringing them out of the line. If you don't react quick enough, when they do come back at you, you're retreating, and you got an offensive line in this particular instance. Hicks just finishing a good play, running the good line.
So Mr. Walker looking to convert the Hicks try, and it never looked like missing. 4 points become 6, and Manly's lead out to 4. 6 gone, 18 plays 14. And we are once again back underway. Hamono. Straight away, hard and straight.
That's one movement now.
No mucking around on his part.
And so important that the Warriors don't muck around as well, that they get up there with an offensive D and certainly respond as quickly as possible, not allowing this game to get outside. Not allowing Manly to start to build some momentum. Solomon Hamono, 2 hit-ups.
And a good offload as well. Manly keeping the ball alive. Dunley, the man who's starting to make some noise since his introduction into this one. Incorrect play of the ball, though.
No, well, you don't play the ball until you're on. No, Shane. No, Shane.
And exactly this time, the referee's got to look at that, holding down by the back of the net. You must stand up to play the ball. Well, he's got him right there, but Tony Martin holding the neck, tit for tat. Shane Dunley is becoming a very versatile player off the bench for this Manly side.
But go back to the play just before the half-time split when Manly were penalised for exactly the same thing. I think if nothing else, all they want is consistency out of Shane Hayne. At the moment, he's not delivered it.
Result with the headgear on. Now Paliacina like a ramrod. 5 metres out. Lowaki looking to crash over. Right in front of the sticks. Jones. Webb. Back to Jones. Ohio. Not sure where to go. Ohio still going. Villasanti bumping out of tackles. Now the last coming up. They go to Ohio. Little kick into the in goal. Bouncing all over the shop. Ohio! Did he fumble the ball? Did he score the try?
Mate, just check that when he was trying to regather the ball, he didn't knock the ball.
He's shaking the head. My suspicions are that he just come up with a little fumble. But the final decision will rest with Phil Cooley.
And my initial look was perhaps one of concurrence there. I think, Costo, I think he might be spot on.
Did he catch the ball before when he's trying to regather it? You'll see it right here. Oh, he's lost it there. Did he catch it before it hit the ground was what I was going to say. And that would have to be, well, at best simultaneous. He gets through. He really fights. Give him A for effort. A for competition as well. That for mine touches the ground before he regathers, which will be ruled a knock on.
Well, maybe this is a lot closer than we think.
Yep.
It's certainly line ball. Come on, Peter, hop off the
Well, I
fence.
thought it hit the turf, but...
Guys, we said it right at the start. It's definitely a knock-on.
Marvellous what a replay can do, though. No try as a result of all that. So no change to the score. Manly leading by 4. 18-14, 7.5 gone in the second stanza, and this is Hopewadi. One-time bad boy of rugby league. Donnelly scored a try against his former St George Illawarra teammates last weekend at Brookie. It's a very good performance on the part of Manly, one that they really did need after 6 losses on the trot.
Good defensive play there by Manly, defending their line with the Warriors looking to break it. And if anything, the Warriors, what they needed more than anything was someone just straightening it up, running the line, as we saw Hicks do just moments before when he found the 4-point at the other end.
Stewart up to halfway.
Short side hole.
Monahan, a dummy half. Stewart goes to ground once more. Now the last coming up. Dunley serves up the pass for Monahan. Got rid of a couple, puts one over the top. Will he get the bounce? No, Webb is back there.
That's dominant tackle.
Brent Webb,
no sleepers.
he's just in the right place at the right time, isn't he?
Lively customer, Michael Monahan. Both fullbacks in this game, apart from the error early from Stewart, handing the try to Stacey Jones, having plenty of impact and fine performances. And also Paul Dezoit, giving good service out of dummy half for this Warriors team.
Where does Olka perhaps add to his game now is looking to get some running meterage out of there when you've got an enthusiastic defensive line coming at you. Look to steal a couple of sneakies.
Outside.
Looking to steal some metres now with the boot is Stacey Jones. Not a bad kick either. Stewart back to his own goal line, and look at the reception committee.
Markers lock in, stand up. Hold in.
Noticeable that the intensity of this game, or the tempo, is certainly lifted.
Hopewadi making some metres. And Clinton Torpey has been called upon by Coach Anderson as Watmow makes a charge for Manly.
Square it up.
There he is.
Yep.
Torpey on the sideline. We can see him from high above.
4.
And a fancy hairdo, to say the least.
It's a walking transmitter.
It's a wonder he can't hear us.
That's 5. Here, wait here.
Now
wait
the last
here.
coming up for Manly.
Who is he? Let's see. Yeah, that's all right.
And a kick off the left boot of Dunley. Here's Webb. Melly still going. Now he's chopped down. Good tackle it was. Williamson around the bootlaces. A copybook tackle. Martin, he goes to ground. Listen to the fans here, just over 10,000. And Torpy, the head just rocked back for a moment, and he goes to ground right in front of our commentary position. Ohio, Korpu, attracting two defenders. A quick play of the ball, just what the doctor ordered if you're a Warriors fan. Luaki, there was a one-on-one strip. Should be 6 to go. Was there any advantage?
Play touch. Thank you, in here. Knock on by Manly first. Spill.
That's exactly how the referee saw it. No advantage. Manly did play the ball. There'll be 6 more coming up for the home side.
The benefit of a quick play the ball is everything in this game, as the coaches know. And Waringa Korpu, his ability to play the ball quickly has just given Loaki plenty of room down the blind side. He gets the ball knocked out and they call it a Manly knock on. And there it is, receiving. I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure whether they would be considered to be offensive weapons as well, but I can tell you what, when he turned up to the game this afternoon, he walked past Coach Daniel Anderson. Well, no words were spoken.
Tell you what, the occupational health and safety people at the NRL, they'll be looking into this. Here's Webb. Anderson, ball goes loose, pressure off Manly. They launch the counter-attack. Donald, he's got some pace. He's got a problem in the form of Brent Webb. Watmow refusing to submit.
Richard, let him stand. Go.
Heckenberg. He cops plenty in the tackle, but he still makes some good meters for Manly.
He's been fantastic here this afternoon, Heckenberg.
Monahan thought about throwing the pass back to Williamson. Dunley zipping away from dummy half. Big cutout ball. Donald. That tackle had to be made.
Well, it was on for the intercept as well for Mellors there. He decided not to go for the intercept.
Oh, look at Heckenberg! Big gap, big try for Manly. How did he get through there? An unlikely try scorer, Daniel Heckenberg, and Manly's lead out to 8 points.
Well, when you get the big boys just staying close to the action, fat man's lane up the middle there. You know, in time over your career, they will come. And this afternoon, he's got it exactly that. But here was a pass, spot on. DJ could very well have been an intercept. Mellors went for the tackle, but Heckenberg, he's just worked tirelessly this afternoon. 15 tackles, 11 hit-ups, and now a 4-pointer beside his name.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. And a nice touch from Walker. He's thrown some great balls today, and that one into a hole. And this man, he's got the shape of a front row. Perfect build for that sort of hole that close to the line. Nuggety, a bit like Danny Nutley from Cronulla. And today, Heckenberg, well, he just strolls over really. Just one hand on him. They're into some pressure on their own line, and the Warriors' defensive line at 6s and 7s.
Well, something, again, it just highlights that close to the line. 5 metres, 10 metres out. When you get a bit of depth and run the correct angles, run the lines, you put yourself in at least a good position of coming up with a result.
Well, Manly is in a great position. Walker converts the Heckenberg try, and it's the Eagles by 10. So far, so good for the Crusher and co.
And just confirming, all's good. I just hope their messages are not picked up by Clinton Torpy.
Stay outside, go.
Espionage perhaps going on. Who knows? A few Manly fans in the crowd, of course. Popular club on this side of the Tasman. Before the advent of the Warriors, plenty of Kiwis making a name for themselves, a big name, of course, at Brookvale. Players like Ridge and Craig Innes, Darryl Williams, and of course we shouldn't forget Graham Lowe.
Stand up with it. Hold here, hold.
6-6, the interchanges.
3, Marcus Square, short side.
Getting very close to 20 hit-ups for John Hopoate for this match. That's number 17.
Dominant tackle.
So Manly now just 10 short of halfway and doing it rather nicely. Watmow loses the ball. Warriors have got it. Ohio diving on the scraps.
And what they do nicely is play the football for the territory. Play the right football at the right end of the park. If it's about coming out of your red zone, it's simple, effective, one off the ruck, nice little darts out of the acting half. They get down the other end. The likes of Walker and them, they come to play looking for a bit of width. This time Lance Ohio takes it.
Tackle 2. Albert straight up. Here and hold.
And the kid from Huntley, I should say, they call him the Huntley Hurricane. Nothing fancy.
Hold here,
Just
hold.
takes the tackle. They're looking for some field position here, the Warriors. Jones across to Falmawina. Pass goes to ground. Melly.
Ball, let him stand up.
He's put away by Menzies. And now Torpy back on the inside. Falmawina. Webb, they went backwards. Play on's the call. Torpy does a dance. Now he centralises play. He gives it to Jones. He surveys his options. He goes backwards. He looks for runners. Now he goes forwards.
Let him go, Shane. Take him forward.
It's moments like this that you wish you had an Andrew Johns pass on you, because they certainly had the numbers out there, but they had a number of maroon and white jerseys in between you.
And now young Stewart is collared by the Warriors defence. Chasing team led by Tony Martin and Brent Webb.
Turn, Marcus Square.
And Torpy over the top, putting Hopewadi on his backside.
So important that the Warriors have an extra score in this match. Stay in touch at the moment. You're getting a lot of second phase play by Manly, starting to suck up the energy, the juice. And Elkerberg responds the only way he knows how, straight up the middle, ball tucked under the arm. And committing 2 defenders again.
Right here.
The former Dragon, the former Eel, plays it back for Dunley. They go across to Walker. Now Monahan looking for Watmow perhaps. Monahan, will he get rid of the pass? No. Goes to ground, 10 short of halfway. And now the last coming up for the Manly side. Walker's under some pressure. Will he get the kick away? No, but he had some help. And Stewart was the man. Not a bad kick too under the circumstances. Let's see how good the chase is on the part of Manly.
That's one. Marcus
And what's
Square.
good to like about this Manly side in that set of 6 is they still played it with structure. They're able to have 2 or 3 charges up the right-hand side, and then they set a back line on the left for Monahan to have a crack at. They didn't get through, ended up having to get to their kick and kick it, but they still played with some structure when the fatigue of the game sets in, and that'll please Coach Des Hasler.
3 now, Luke Williams up. Hold. Go on.
See you.
4, let him stand up. Here coming Michael all the way here, Michael. Yep, good.
Tony Martin gives it to Guttenbeil. Back to Martin. See you. Crosses halfway. Now the last coming up. Ohio chipping over the top, looking for the bounce. Hicks is back there. He anticipated well.
That's one, let him go now.
Ohio mixing his game up at players queuing up on the left-hand side. Kick was just a fraction too long. It's Manly. Back they go. Watch the structure.
Here and hold, wait.
So we talk about percentages, and here you are finding yourself exactly where you started just moments, 1 play ago, 2 plays ago.
3.
Would you have been better off again playing percentages, getting it deep, getting it back in the corners, backing it up with a good chase?
Manly looking for their first win at this venue since 1998.
Short side. Yep.
And at the moment, they're sitting pretty. 10-point lead coming up to the 1 hour mark. Now the last coming up for the Eagles. Walker goes to the heavens. And good take on the full it was. Mellors, he took it in the in goal, surely he took it in the in goal. He's giving the referee a bit of a stare.
Well, Andrew Walker's got the highest kick in rugby league, that's for sure. The big Gary Owen, and look at that. Well, great decision from the referee. He took it from the field of the play back into the in-goal area, and then needed to do a little bit more than that. He's a big man, this man, Vince Mellors. Good palm on him. Could have given him 2 or 3 more metres to have the ball in the field of play.
I'm not quite sure if his front foot was actually in the in-goal area when he took that ball. He was certainly leaving out of the field of play. But if his foot had been on the in-goal area in there, then clearly that should have been a 20-metre restart.
Well, in the context of this game, it may well be a big call, but it's been negated by this fumble at dummy half.
Showing your true colours there, Peter.
Well,
Nice.
if we get the opportunity again to have another look at it.
Very, very sloppy play the ball here from Manly. So Warriors will get their opportunity. 10 points behind on the scoreboard. 20 minutes of this match to go.
So a sloppy play the ball leaves the door ajar for the Warriors. Anderson.
That's one, let him up, let him up.
This is Vinny, played against the Kangaroos at North Harbour last October. Torpy, who starred in that test match, starting to make some inroads.
With every run, you're starting to see a stronger, more confident Clinton Torpy. The opening passage is a little hesitant at times, but that was a good carry.
Lawaki plays it back to Desault. Hohire. Jones with the juggle. Maintains possession. Did that go backwards? Manly have got it. Away goes Walker. Walker. Has he got the pace?
Has he got the pace? Taken down there by Benny Anderson, but did we see Jerry Celso in the background?
Well, it's still on here for the Eagles. It was a good pickup from Walker, and Manly now really putting the acid on the Warriors' defence. Donald. He is captured by Corpu. 5 out from the line. Hollingsworth. Monahan bumps out of one. Got rid of the ball. Now it comes back to Donald. Donald looking for a double. Just short of the line. Now looking for the barge over Manly. On the last, they go in the corner, and LB Torrens, he grabs the double, and Manly perhaps on their way to a big win at Ericsson. 28-14 with a kick to come.
Albert Torrens gets his second on the back of a mistake on halfway, and this is it here, a simple backline movement, lack of communication. And Walker, well, a couple of years ago would have had the pace to go on with this. He was electrifying and played some of his rugby at fullback, rugby league at fullback as well. And from here, some pressure. They go, and they go again in the dummy half area, and then a great pass here, clears the area and right into a huge big hole. Albie Torrens, as he did in the first half.
And Torrens, the success of that one was all about the numbers. When they shifted it to the left, there was no shortage of Manly players. 3 up against 2. There was going to be a gap somewhere, and Torrens found exactly the right one he needed.
Walker looking to convert the second try by Torrens. He does exactly that.
Not
Hamono, he's happy. Why not? Manly's cruising at 30 points to 14.
Andrew Walker making his way back to the field. And Solomon Hamono didn't look too happy. The big fella's got plenty to cheer about.
But those Manly fans certainly were happy.
Well, they'll be loving this on the peninsula. Looking for back-to-back victories, the Eagles.
Well, Coach Desi Hasler did say that with a couple of narrow defeats up against the likes of Parramatta, the Dogs, the Tigers, that one win could very well signal the beginning of a good 3-4 win sequence. They got it last week against the Dragons. Could this possibly be the second and the beginning of a couple more to come? But still 16 minutes to go on the clock.
Great ball back to Watmow from Stewart. Watmow's got some pace for a back rower. Still going. Someone stop him. 4 metres out. Manly marshalling troops. That is a penalty. Not marking up correctly. The Warriors, they're sucking in the big ones. Manly to keep the pressure on. Monahan with the tap, with the dummy. 2 metres out. The margin, 16 to go. Hollingsworth back to Heckenberg. Heckenberg threatening the line. Guttenbeil shuts him down with the help of Lawaki. Walker promotes it for Stewart. Stewart across the back line, and the ball is now with Torrens. Not again, surely. Walker fooled everybody. CU rushing out of the line, and they drive him backwards. The Manly pivot called on to play the football. 9 metres out. Monahan stepping, still going. Now on the last. Manly spread it in the corner, and away they go. No, forward pass. What a big call at that. Des Hasler from high above, keeping cool.
They've really exploited this left-hand side. Torrens has got a double, and he nearly put his winger in for another one. Vince Millis and Stacey not having a happy afternoon down that side of the field. Called that forward. Well, on that angle, doesn't look it, but the camera's not great. Must have got a call from the touchy, that's for sure. But if you go back, as we see Clinton Torpey and all his antennae sticking up, what a brilliant match Brett Stewart's having. Put a great ball in for Watmo, and great pace from the second row. It was breathtaking.
And now, what is doing for the Warriors? On tackle 1, Tony Martin had no chance to get that.
Well, this is just a bit hopeful with the one-hander over the top. You know, you got to create something. Sione throws it, doesn't even get it close, and then the slip over and touch. And if there's any more transistor radios floating around, can someone take a couple to Daniel Anderson's box, because he's throwing his all over the place for sure.
Scrum until I call it. No, come on, inside leg back.
One player missing out of the Manly football side, Chad Randall, formerly
You stay there.
comfortable in the number 9 shirt. The guy that is there this afternoon, Nathan Hollingsworth, had a great game. The service out of acting half, couldn't have asked for better. Sharp.
Hicks, Manly looking sharp with the ball. 10 out from the goal line. Walker. Big mix up, a dummy half. Walker for the line. Did he lose the ball? Yes, he did. A let-off for the Warriors with 13 to go.
Well, it might have been a let-off, Costo, but it's easy, isn't it? Sure, there was a mix-up, and then he just decided to go on his own. He's only not scored this try by trying to position the football to reach out and actually place it. But you can't be able to walk through a defensive line like that. Not right up the middle of the ruck.
Out.
Melly from the scrum.
1 now.
90 metres to travel or thereabouts.
No, Andrew.
They trail by 16, the locals. Falmawina making some metres.
Don't let him go.
And claiming some redemption for a wild pass only moments ago. Good carry.
Guttenbeil.
3.
2 interchanges left for Coach Anderson. 4 for Hasler as Siu carts it upfield. And they drive him backwards. Ball comes loose. Play on's the call. 12 to go. The Warriors, they need points. They need them now.
Dominant tackle. Last one.
Manly really showing that they can compete in this year's Telstra Premiership. Started well against the Cowboys before fizzing out in the ensuing weeks. But perhaps they are back on track.
Well, the confidence they've gained from the win against St George Illawarra has really been prevalent today. Great pick-up. Steve Menzies, good ball, and hammered. And then Chris Hicks, one hand behind him, and he decides to flick one out the back as well to the big man Hopper from the Ant Colony. Away he goes.
And Hopper-Whitey again proving a handful. 9 short of halfway.
Square up, Marcus, good.
Heckenberg. He's been solid. Almost up to the halfway line.
Hold, wait.
11 to go. Manly by 16. Stewart.
4. Let him up, Sion. Short side. Yep.
Williamson. Hicks.
5. Bring it back.
Let's see what Manly have got on the last. Monahan with the crossfield bomb. And the Warriors have got it. Some anxious moments for Mellors. He had the sun to deal with, some chases to deal with, the ball to deal with. He did exceptionally well.
On a very quiet afternoon for Vince Mellors. He does particularly well. Exactly, Costo. Players all over him. He's a huge man and comes up with the goods.
Here's Korpu.
Let's turn, movement now.
Harris in a 3-man Manly tackle as the Warriors work the blind. Brent Webb. 8 short of halfway. Hohire at first receiver. Jones. Now to Guttenbeil. Back to Jones. Over the top she goes. Tony Martin now. He'll centralise play.
Ball, let him go, Michael.
Keeping well clear of that sideline. Now darting from dummy half. Poliacina.
Michael, straight up.
Great run. Let's hope that lifts the enthusiasm. Stephen, you're down there on the sideline. Is there still plenty of talk left in the Warriors?
None whatsoever. It's a very gloomy bench right now. These Seagulls have their tails up. Someone just walked past me and said, have the wheels fallen off? I just couldn't say a thing. It's a very dull afternoon right now.
Not so dull for Manly. Hicks has got possession for his side. 9 to go, and the Eagles still in the box seat, still in control. Williamson goes to ground.
Keep coming.
Almost twice as many missed tackles for the Warriors. Monahan, a wayward pass. Donald has to pick up the dregs. He comes back in field. He's got some toe. He'll go all the way. Good night, Warriors. And Manly will grab the 2 competition points. Scotty Donald grabs a double, and it's party time for the Eagles.
I'm very disappointed how that try came about as well. When you look at a Warrior defensive line coming up with a missed tackle rate certainly well beyond what the coaching staff did, but it all happened out here when it went wide. It came from nothing, and how often do we see this when a ball goes to ground, nothing doing, and then some broken field running there. He just excels. He finds the right gap and goes straight up the middle, and a very dejected Warriors outfit side sitting under the post right now.
Well, he's a prolific try scorer, this man, and Donald. You're exactly right, Peter. When a mistake or an error looks like it's going to happen, everybody gets put on their heels. And those who don't react quickly and get back on the balls with their feet and push up in the defensive line get caught. And this is what this man's done. He's too good for that. He's got real speed. And with a swerve and a bit of good work, he'll put it right down under the horns.
Scotty Donald, former emerging origin player for Queensland, hails from Townsville. They'll be pleased in the Upper Ross. And Walker grabs the extras. And what a scoreline we have got at at Ericsson, I should say. You'd swear they're playing at Brookvale the way they are playing it. 36-14. Shock horror for the Warriors.
Shock horror, exactly. When the coaches sat down at the start of the year and looked at the Warriors and playing them at home, they wouldn't have banked on 2 points. How the season has changed as we get nearly to the halfway mark in the competition, and the Warriors aren't travelling well.
And what about the fans? You'd swear there's been a bomb threat at the ground. They've just headed for the turnstiles by their hundreds.
Stay on side. What's 10?
An incredible scoreline. The Warriors widely tipped to win this.
Short side. Marcus
and Manly
good.
Coming away with 2 very good competition points on the road. Second time they've done it this season, and back-to-back victories as Heckenberg goes upfield.
And just supporting Heckenberg there with number 17, Luke Williamson. Been no shortage of stars. Players willing to put their hand up and do the hard yards in the middle, then find themselves out on the fringe. But Williamson, he's already come up with 17 tackles.
2 to go.
5 hit-ups for this football side here this afternoon.
The great thing to like about this Manly side is when you talk about stars, there hasn't been a poor performer. Everyone's contributed, especially this man right here, Walker. He's been in everything. And they thoroughly deserve what's going to be a good victory, and their second and victories back-to-back.
And Manly showing no mercy whatsoever. Young Stewart getting across the whitewash. It is a demolition job at Ericsson. The rot has set in at 40 points to 14.
On the back of some pretty good football too in attack. Questionable defence for sure, and they've had some real success on the left-hand side this afternoon. This time it's a nice little short ball. They attack the line, and well, just outnumbered. Vince Mellors tries to come in there, and this man deserves a try. He coughed one up early on down this end of the field for Stacey Jones early when the Warriors were competing, and now he gets his name on the scoreboard. He's had a fine match, Brett Stewart.
Well, it's a defensive line over the last probably 10 rounds of football that at times when they've been suspect up the middle, they've adjusted, they've tightened it up, only to allow themselves to be exposed out wide. The number of times that the Manly football side has come down the flank, more often than not, they've always been numbers. Cleo, Crusher, you're on fire. He's going home with a happy footy team tonight. But Andrew Walker, we talked about players in his Manly football side pre-game. Andrew Walker was one of them. Beaver was another one. Sam Harris was another. They've all played well. Heckenberg, but also everybody else around them has certainly stepped up the plate to play their part as well.
Walker converts the try. 4 to go. Manly at 42-14. Stephen is downstairs with the Eagles captain.
Well, 250 you get a win, 251 you get a win. This is a pretty dominant performance today.
Yeah, it was good effort. I think we sort of set the platform last week and just built it up over the 80 minutes, and it's good to score a few points.
Many people will ask, are you surprised at the ease of the win this afternoon, or is it...
No, we know we always knew it was going to be a tough game over here, but we know we got confidence in ourselves that we can play some good football.
2 in a row. This is a good start for a roll, isn't it?
That is a roll, isn't it? 2 in a row.
Hey, have a good trip home. Well done.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. Ta.
And one of the greats at the Manly club, Stephen Menzies, a one-club man. And don't you love that in rugby league these days? There's not too many left. Well done, Stephen Menzies.
3.
Yes, he's just done about everything in the game. He's won a premiership, World Cup glory, State of Origin, of course, and still going strong on the peninsula.
Wait here, wait. Go.
What a day it has been for Manly, and we've just been reliably informed this is their biggest win ever over the Warriors. So a red-letter day for the Manly side on this side of the Tasman, and still they want more on the last. Monahan with the kick. Webb's getting across there on the bounce. Nowhere to go.
Let him go now, straight up. Hit him to me.
Warriors, they led at the break 14-12. And it has been a second half shutout. Penalty goes to the home side. Ohio with the quick touch finder with 3 to go.
Certainly not much to cheer about if you're a Warriors supporter. At half-time, they're very much in this match. In the second half, certainly hasn't been their best. They've had some contributors, and they've tried hard. Dezoit, that man there, has worked hard at dummy half and given reasonable service. But unfortunately, the wheels have just fallen off this afternoon on the back of some errors.
Jones, Webb, looking for Martin. He takes the tackle. Falmawina finds nobody except the Telstra sign here at Ericsson.
4 now, let him go. 10 metres here to me. There you go.
Gazolt gives the pass to Hohire. Paliacina dishes it back to Hohire, and he's surrounded by Eagle jumpers.
Daniel, stay square at marker. Hold here, Sam. Yep.
Jones on the last, resorts to the high kick. Walker's back there. Ball goes loose. A consolation try for Melly. Finally, perhaps something to cheer about for the Ericsson faithful.
Check the onside just to make sure. Then we're looking at the contest in the air.
Well, there you go. Just about checking everything, Shane Hayne. And if this is a try, Francis Melly deserves one. Had a fine first half, was involved in everything. And they put the kick up on the last couple of minutes. Stacey Jones says, well, we'll just go upstairs, have a competition for the ball and see if we can actually end the game on a high. I'll check if he's onside. On that graphic there, you can't see the width, but you'd have to believe that they all were. Francis's head maybe just in the screen. Where did that ball touch? I believe it probably just touched Andrew Walker. And Francis, well, you've helped yourself to a try, and you deserve one this afternoon as well.
Phil Cooley having a good look at this one. Appears to have gone backwards towards the Manly goal line.
Certainly looks to come off the chest of Walker, maybe the hands of Stewart. As they both compete for the ball. It's just players in action. It's a lottery for sure. And we got no problem there.
Well, Melly, he thinks it's a try. I think the Manly side, they think it's a try. They have regrouped in the in goal, just awaiting confirmation here at Ericsson. In the dying stages of this round 10 clash. An amazing scoreline. Who would have predicted this? 90 seconds away from the final hooter. And it is mission accomplished for the Manly Sea Eagles.
Certainly is. Happy trip back across the Tasman for those two men there.
Check out the Warriors website for the...
and 2 pretty happy weeks around Brookvale. But if you're around Ericsson, it's another week. Trying to find some enthusiasm, trying to find some confidence for the Warriors. Something to build on. Crusher Cleo.
This is taking an absolute age. Seems to be a technical problem. Finally, confirmation for the Warriors. It is too little too late. But Melly gets another 4-pointer, and it is 42-18 with about a minute to go.
Pretty basic with Stacey Jones. Well-placed kick. Stewart getting in the road of his 5'8" as they both compete for the football. And then it's all too easy. Fourth kick, try kick we've seen this afternoon. Second from Bombs. And 2 little grubbers along the ground as well. 45 tries for Francis. Really the complete winger.
Thelma Weiner, 26 tackles today, and he's raised the flags on several occasions. He does so once more. Another 2 points for the Warriors, but nowhere near enough. It's Manly by 22. Happy birthday to the Mad Butcher, 60 years of age, they tell me. I'm sure he might have had a party last night, but certainly not tonight, given the scoreline here at Ericsson. A restart for Walker.
That's one. 10 metres, bring it back, Daniel.
Manly, of course, looking to make it 3 on the trot next weekend. They host the Sharks. Cronulla coming off a loss to the Roosters overnight. And there we have it. A shock scoreline. 7 tries to 3. What a carve up for Manly, their 3rd win of the season, and the Warriors sink to a new low since their renaissance in 2001. 42-20 at the final hooter.
This has been a Fox Sports production for the National Rugby League Partnership. This match brought to you by Tooheys New. Tooheys New, what mates do. The Extreme Nissan X-Trail. Lowe's Menswear. Harvey Norman, there's a store near you. And the new Bundaberg Rum Dry and Lime.
Fox Sports this June, the Italian and the Dutch.